Creepers left to rise, buzz like crazy. Everybody's trying to stimulate it. Spiders in the mirror and things can't be right. Back to the scene of a Friday night, to a blessed collision still frozen tight. Spear drinkers, Cupid and the sound of earthless chime. And why did you argue? We're dreaming of those eyes, the best part of my life. And when we make love, babe, don't make a sound, the clock won't turn around. Ooh, you turn around, 2,000 little fires. And ooh, your siren call is spreading.
Hello my friends, welcome back to another reading vlog. It is Monday. We're going to do the whole week again. I felt like that worked out pretty well last time. I was able to include a lot of books and it was good. It was good. So this week, well, as it's Monday, I'm on a historical romance kick again. So at this point, I am only reading historical romances. I have an arc that I'm reading, and my audiobook that I'm reading is a historical romance. And I know that next week, I think, is the historical romance readathon, and I'm not even sad about it. Like I wasn't really feeling it for a little while, but now I'm like, that's all I want to read. So I'm so happy because this is my favorite subgenre. I love it so much. So let's talk about what I'm reading so far. Also, I just want to show you my hoodie I just got in the mail. If you are an 80s child, raise your hand and let me know that you recognize this. Isn't it amazing? I saw this in an Instagram ad and I was like, I need it. And so I bought it and I love it. It's Rainbow Bright and She-Ra, if you don't know, but you should know because they're iconic. Anyway, also, if you didn't know, if you're new here, I'm obsessed with horses and especially unicorns and especially rainbow unicorns. That's what I make most of the time in my sculpture shop. So anyway, onto the books. So I am currently reading Devil in Spring by Lisa Kleypas. This is book 3 in the Ravenels series. This was on my June TBR. I wanted to read through the rest of the Ravenel series. So that's my goal right now, is to just keep reading one after the other. I have all of them on audiobooks. And so I'm excited. I have to say, this is my favorite in the series so far. I absolutely love this book with my whole heart and soul. It is beautiful, and it is honestly, I feel like this is going to be a new favorite Lisa Kleypas for me. I just love it so much. I love it so much. And I feel like it's interesting to me because Cold Hearted Rake is my least favorite Lisa Kleypas book that I've read so far. 3 stars. I mean, it's still good because it's Lisa Kleypas, but compared to her other ones that I've read, way down on the list. Marrying Winterborn, however, was a 5-star read. I really loved that one, but it's not my favorite Lisa Kleypas, but it still was a solid 5-star read. Really loved it. This book, however, is poised to be one of my top Lisa Kleypas books ever. I love it so much. This book follows Gabriel, who is the son of Evie and St. Vincent, who are from the Wallflower series. And I love it so much. I love their family. I love Evie and St. Vincent's family. It is so sweet and so beautiful. I just am obsessed with how happy they are and how happy their children are. And Gabriel is sort of like set up to be a rake, but he's just like this sweet, good man. I just love it so much. So the heroine is Pandora. She is one of the Ravenel twins, Pandora and Cassandra. So we have seen her in the previous 2 books. And she is one night at a ball. She is in this room. I can't remember exactly why. And she's by herself. And her gown ends up getting caught on like on a chair or something like that. It ends up getting caught and torn. And who enters the room except Gabriel St. Vincent and tries to like extricate her without ripping her gown and, you know, helping her get out of there. And she's the whole time thinking, okay, I have to hurry and get out of here, because if they catch us together, I'm gonna be ruined and I may have to marry this man. And, you know, Gabriel's thinking the same thing. But they have like this really fun little banter between them in this moment that's kind of silly and but also dangerous at the time, because if they were caught together, she would be presumed ruined and he would have to marry her, and it's just delightful. They do end up getting caught, and so there is this plot for them to marry, so their families meet and all that other stuff. They end up spending time together with each other's family, which I love. Like, I feel like this is such a beautiful, strong family, and it is just so beautiful and endearing. There are some lovely times when they're at the sea with each other, and there's the moment with the hermit crab and the St. Vincent little boy, like, oh my gosh, it was so precious. I loved it so much. I just love it. I dearly love it. But the thing about Pandora that I really like is she's a very unique heroine. She wants to build board games. Like, she wants to make them and sell them. Like, that's what she wants to do. And the thing that is really cool about this is that she's very intelligent. She's a very intelligent, a very unique heroine. She is for sure going to be one of my top historical romance heroines that I've ever read. I just adore her. And she's talking with Gabriel about why she doesn't really want to marry him, because once she marries him, she will not be able to start her business. Everything will be his. She won't have any autonomy. She won't have any choices. Like, everything that she wants to do will legally be his. And so she's like, no, I am not going to marry, no matter how charming or wonderful you are, because I want to do my dream of making these board games. And if I marry you, I have to depend on your kindness and trust that you're going to let me do that. And even if you do let me do that, it's still... Hi. But she says even if she does marry him and she does trust him and he allows her to still do her board games, build her business, like she kind of is chafing at that idea that it's still going to be something that he has to allow because of British law at the time. And so that is, I felt like Lisa Kleypas really explained exactly what it was like for women at that time and how much they really depended on their husband. Like, if their husband was a good and kind man, then they had a happy life. And if he wasn't, they didn't, you know, and it just was really, I don't know, she just explained it perfectly. It was beautifully described, and it's just lovely. I'm just loving it so much. It's seriously so good. It's so good. Okay, so I'm gonna finish listening to this. That's the audiobook I'm listening to. And then I started an arc. This was not on my June TBR, but I skipped ahead to this book just because I really wanted to read it and I was in a historical romance mood. And the only other arc that I had for June is a fantasy romance and I wasn't feeling it. So I picked up The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. This is a book that I have really wanted to read. I enjoyed the first one. It was a 4-star read for me. I really liked it. I think that it's a really unique, diverse romance, and I think that it's just beautiful. This book is very interesting because our heroine Hannah is a bone setter. And that's kind of different than like a doctor or a medical doctor. It basically sounds like she puts bones, like she deals with broken bones, bones that are out of joint, things like that. It almost sounds like it's a little bit, not like a chiropractor, but it's kind of seen in a way that is like a quack or a charlatan. Like, they don't really think that they're actually know what they're doing, that they're scamming people for money. But she actually really does know what she's doing. She's learned her trade. It's been passed down from her father, so she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's very good at this. And it's really cool to reading about that. Like, it's something very unique. I've never read about this before, and I'm just totally sucked into the story. The hero's name is Griffin, and he has been injured in the war, so his whole arm, like, is out of socket, like his shoulder and his elbow and his wrist. And he goes to see the bone setter to see if she can help him, and he sees that she's wearing this sapphire necklace that belonged to his mother, and his parents were killed, and so he is on a mission to try and figure out who killed his parents, and now he has suspicions that maybe she was involved with that in some way. And it's just, they have some really good chemistry. I'm only 25% of the way into it so far, but I am very much enjoying it. I am really invested in this story. I think it has potential to have some great mysterious elements and like some great conflict, because she does have this necklace that belonged to his mother, and they were murdered. So what's the story there? You know, like I'm interested in it. Yeah, I think that's all of the plot basically so far, but I'm interested in it. It's very readable. It's a good time. I think so far I'm only 25% of the way in, but so far I think if you liked the first one, you would really like this. And we have seen Hunt, who's the hero in the first book, in this, but I feel like you could read this as a standalone too, for sure. Like, it's not in a series. It's like they're interconnected because they're in the same world and you may have characters show up, but it's not like a series where it's a cliffhanger and you have to read it in order. So those are the books that I am reading. I'll keep you updated as I finish them and tell you my final thoughts. But I'm in a really happy place because I'm excited to be reading historical romances, and I have 2 really good ones so far. So let's hope. I'm positive this is going to be a 5-star read. But I'm a little anxious about how the ending is going to go with the Diana Quincy, because I feel like that's how the first one went. I really loved the first half of that book, and then the second half kind of went a little downhill for me, so it wasn't quite a 5-star read, but it was still a solid read. I really liked it. Anyway, that's the plan. Kazi found a bone under my desk. Of course he did, or it's loud. I'll check in with you in a little bit. Hello, welcome back to the vlog. So, I just finished filming some videos, and so I thought I would do a vlog clip really fast. I finished Devil in Spring. I loved it so much. Honestly, I think this is for sure my favorite in the series so far. It's just like, this book honestly just made me so happy the whole time I was reading it. I thought it was so sweet. I felt like it was very unique. I felt like the story was unique. I felt like the couple was unique. I love the heroine in here. She's a little quirky and a little bit different, and just very, very fun. Like, I just loved it. It was just very comforting and just fun. Like, there were so many moments in here that I felt like were just so sweet. I also was a little surprised at kind of the twist towards the end. There's a little bit of a dramatic twist that happens, and there's a sickbed scene in here, which I love. I always love that, and Lisa Kleypas loves herself a sickbed scene, and it was just delightful. I loved it. Honestly, I feel like I don't know that I have anything really to discuss about this, other than I feel like I think I mentioned earlier, I really liked how she was talking about the options that women had and how much of their freedoms were taken away when they decided to marry. So how they were really quite literally trading marriage and security, potential security, for a lot of freedoms being taken away, you know? Not that they had a lot to begin with, but I feel like in general in historical romance that's always sort of hinted at, but it's never laid out quite as specific as it was here, and I thought that was really interesting. But I also just really loved how much, like, Gabriel from the moment he met her was sort of just really enamored with her and taken with her, and that just seemed to grow and grow and grow throughout the whole course of the book, and she felt the same, you know, like, I liked how her feelings for him were the same, but he was definitely the one who was hooked first, and I don't know, I just loved it. It was just so good. It just made me so happy. I don't know, it was a great one. It was just a beautiful, lovely, sweet romantic book, and I just freaking adored it. So then I immediately went into Hello Stranger. Yeah, this is a large print. I didn't notice that when I bought it online. It's freaking huge. I'm listening to the audiobook though, but I'm on chapter 6 right now. And again, this book instantly captivated me. I really like the setup in here. We have Garrett, who is a woman doctor. She's the heroine who we've seen in previous books. She's shown up in there. And her love interest is, what's his name? So her love interest is Ethan, and he is a Ravenel by a byblow. So he is a Ravenel, but like, not a legit one like the others, and he is also, I think that he is like the police chief or something, like he has a big responsibility there, so he also has been hired to like bodyguard and protect them. So the opening scene in here is when Garrett is leaving from like some industrial place where she's serving as a doctor and helping to treat injuries and things like that. And for the last several nights, she has heard someone behind her, she's thought, following her, and so she's a little nervous about that. And so this night, the opening scene, she is followed by 3 men who are in soldier uniforms, and they are ready to attack her. Like, they're making rude gestures, like they're getting ready to corner her and attack her, and she is ready to defend herself because she knows a little bit about how to defend herself, and she does. Like, she does this really cool move in the beginning where she takes a scalpel out of her dress coat pockets, and they don't know it, and she throws it at one of the guys, and then lo and behold, there is Ethan, our hero, who comes and like knocks them all to the ground and rescues her. And like, you know, I am very much, I would consider that I am a fairly progressive woman, but like, I never ever get tired of seeing a hero rescue the heroine or being protective. Like, it's just my weakness. I just love it so much. It's one of my favorite things. And so that made this super enjoyable to me. I just really liked that. So this book is very fun so far. I'm really enjoying the characters. I think that it's just a delight. This feels like the happiest, like this feels like some peak happiness level reading. Like, I know I have my friends Sophie and Marissa, who Lisa Kleypas is one of their favorite authors, and they love this series. Like, it's just like their happiness, their happy reads. They go back to reread these when they need that happiness, and I can totally see why. I feel like these books are books you could reread so many times and still just absolutely enjoy the story, and they're just so fun. I love them so much. So that's what's happening with this reading update. I also did get a little bit further into the Diana Quincy arc. This book comes out at the end of July. I don't think I mentioned that. I am liking this a lot. The writing is very easy to read. Like, it hooks you right away. I'm very invested in the story. I'm not, like, my mind's not being blown by this, you know? Like, so I feel like it's a good read. It's a solid read. The romance is not blowing me away. I want to swoon. I want to swoon and have all those, like, swoony romantic feelings, and it's not yet. I know it's still halfway through, so I'm really curious to see what happens in the rest of this book. But it's a solid, enjoyable read so far, and I feel like that's largely how I felt about the first one. It didn't blow me away. I liked it. It wasn't earth-shattering for me, you know? Like, I liked it. It was a solid read, but it wasn't like, wow, this is my new favorite book. And that's sort of the vibes I'm getting with this one. Still really enjoying it. It's a fun read. It's a good reading experience. I'm hoping the second half is, I'm hoping it either blows me away and pushes it to a 5-star, or that it stays the same and that it doesn't go down to a 3 or less, you know? I feel like once you hit the halfway point, that's the point where it's like, okay, either I'm gonna love this book, kind of like it, or it's gonna just tank for me. So curious to see what happens there. All right, that is all for this reading update. I will come back and check in when I have more updates. Hello my friends, welcome back to another vlog that I have updates for you. I have finished 2 books. I haven't updated you for a few days. I've had a really busy and stressful few days, and so I just have been reading, but I haven't been updating you, and I'm sorry. So I have 2 books to wrap up for you and then tell you about the next book that I'm reading. So I finished Hello Stranger. I finished this today. This was a 5-star read. I love this book so much. This whole series, the Ravenel series, is so wonderful. I love the family, the Ravenel family. I love seeing I know the St. Vincents play a big role in the whole Ravenel family, so you can see how closely tied the Wallflowers in the Ravenel series are, and I love that so much. I felt like this one was so unique, and I think that this one and Devil in Spring are both... I feel like Lisa Kleypas is really doing some work to move forward what the women's roles in society were, and to kind of not necessarily challenge them in a way that is overtly feminist, but I do like and appreciate how she is giving them more of a unique role, and they're not just the stereotypical historical romance heroines that we see all the time. Like, they're very unique. I feel like each book in this series is super unique and very clever. The characters are so different from book to book. Like, they all feel distinct and individual people. And I think that's, like, such a gift that she has. I feel like that's something she does so well, is that she makes each character in each book and in each series just feel so unique and so different and just so lovable. Like, you just love the characters so much. Like, so this book has Garrett, who was the female doctor. At this point in England, it is, like, illegal, basically, for women. Women cannot become doctors, so she got her doctor's license before that law was passed. And so she's going against all of those society norms that say that she shouldn't be able to be a doctor, and she's very self-sufficient and independent, but I also really enjoy how she really doesn't necessarily, like, she doesn't make that overtly who she is, you know, like, she just wants to live her life, and she wants to be successful at what she is, you know, but she's also not necessarily offended, or she doesn't... I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Like, when Ethan wants to take care of her and protect her, she lets him, and I really like that. I think that that is a really good blend of a very progressive female heroine and her alpha man who wants to take care of her. And Ethan was just such a great hero in this. Like, I loved his accent. The audiobook was really delightful. I liked how he had a little bit of a darker past and how he was really, like, struggling to overcome that. And he did kind of struggle with feelings of he wasn't worthy of Garrett, but I really also liked how they worked through that together. I felt like this had another beautiful sickbed partner in peril scene, which was very dramatic, but I loved it so much. There were some things that he said. He was the one who was sick in this, in peril, literally, when he felt like he was dying, where he said how he felt about Garrett, and oh, my heart, like, it just, like, got me. It was beautifully romantic, and this book was just delightful. It was a beautiful addition to the story. This series is fantastic, and I just... Kazi bumped the table. I just love it so much. So this was an easy 5-star read for me. An easy 5-star. I loved it. I loved it dearly. So then, as soon as I finished that, I immediately picked up Devil's Daughter, because I just am enjoying these reads so much. They're just so comforting and just so fun. They're just so easy to get into. I love the writing. I love the stories. Like, I feel like reading a Lisa Kleypas book just feels so comforting. It's just like you can trust that she's going to tell you a story you're going to love and get lost in, and she's going to, you know, not necessarily twist your heart too badly at times. You know, it was magical. It was beautiful, and I just love all of her books. So this book is Devil's Daughter. So this book is Phoebe is the heroine. She is one of the St. Vincent children, and the book starts out where she is a widow. She's just a young widow. She has 2 fairly young children. She married her childhood sweetheart, Henry, who had a wasting disease, and he, you know, they were in love. They had this great connection, and he didn't really want to marry her because he knew he wasn't going to have a long life, and he didn't want to leave her behind, but of course they love each other, and, you know, Phoebe says several times they had that once-in-a-lifetime love, and it was just so beautiful. And so it tells you right in the beginning that he passes away, and that she is now left a widow, and she really is so... It's just, it's so heartbreaking, you know, like, but not like in a really tragic way, because you know she's also going to get a happily ever after, but she's so loyal to his memory, and she's so loyal to the love that they shared, and she doesn't want anything to tarnish that. She wants to do everything exactly how he did it, and it's very sweet and very romantic, but also a little bit melancholy. But Lisa Kleypas, she balances that so well with the other characters in the story. So the hero in this is West Ravenel, and he apparently was a bit of a bully to Henry when he was a kid, just kind of teased him, called him names, and Phoebe does not like West at all because of that. So when they come back to meet one another as adults at Pandora's wedding, who was the heroine in Devil in Spring, because now their families are joined that way. And it appears at this point, I'm only on chapter 6, but it appears at this point that Phoebe recognizes West and knows exactly what he did and who he was to Henry, but he does not appear to remember her as far as how she was connected to Henry. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. The thing that I really like about this is West has a lot of humor. He's very funny. He's very quirky and clever, and I love seeing the characters from the previous books in the series. This is just such a fun read, and I am loving it so much. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold it so it doesn't glare, but I'm loving it so much. Like, another thing that I really love about this so far is when Phoebe and West met as adults and she's a widow, like, she is just like feels this big spark of attraction towards him that she hasn't felt for anyone since Henry, and I just love that so much. So I think this is going to be another all-time favorite in the series. Like, I feel like each book I read is, oh, I liked that one better, and I liked that one better, and I liked that one better. Like, I didn't really love Cold-Hearted Rake. That's my least favorite Lisa Kleypas book I've ever read. Still a good book, says Lisa Kleypas, so I gave it 3 stars. But it, compared to the other, like, I've read some of the Hathaways, I've read some of the Wallflowers, and I've read some of her standalone books, but Cold-Hearted Rake is for sure my least favorite Lisa Kleypas I've ever read. I just did not like Devon at all. As I have continued to read through the series and I see Devon and Kathleen more, I like him better, but I did not like him in the first book at all. Marrying Winterborn was a 5-star read. So after Marrying Winterborn, that was 5-star. Kaji, hold on. He wants his bone. He wants me to come get his bone. I would just a minute. Marrying Winterborn was 5-star. Devil in Spring was 5-star. Hello Stranger was 5-star. Like, they just keep getting better and better to me as the series goes on. And I have heard that the last 2 are most people's favorites, so I'm real curious to see how I feel about them. So I'm very excited about this. I have very high hopes. I love it so far. It's fantastic. Can I get your bone? Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. So, I also finished my arc, the Diana Quincy arc. The Viscount made me do it. I ended up really enjoying this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I believe I rated the first in this series 4 out of 5 stars too, but I definitely feel like I like this one a little bit better. I felt like the plot in this book was so much stronger. Like, this book follows Hannah, who is an Arab woman, and she is a bone setter. She's a bone setter, so she, like, puts bones back into sockets and stuff like that, basically. And apparently there's a note in the back of that book. At the time, bone setting was actually a legit field. There was a woman bone setter in the 1700s, Diana Quincy said in her author's note. And a lot of times doctors didn't know how to fix, like, dislocated joints at all. So that was a bone setter's job. So, but in the book, the bone setters are seen as, like, charlatans and, like, scam artists. Like, it's not believed to be a real thing. But Hannah, it is, and Hannah has been taught this by her father, and she is working as a woman bone setter, so she's got a lot of odds stacked against her as far as it being a credible career. So Griff, the Viscount, comes to her. His arm is out of socket. His arm is out of socket, and really is just painful. Like, can you imagine your entire arm being out of socket for, like, years? It happened that way in the war 2 years ago. He comes to her because he has seen her wear a necklace that was his mother's that disappeared when his parents were murdered. So he uses his arm as a guise to come and talk to Hannah to find out if she knows anything about his parents' murders. Cosmo, can you stop? She ends up fixing his arm, and that's how they end up meeting one another, feeling this attraction grow and develop. And also sort of you have the layers of the plot of solving who murdered Griff's parents, and was Hannah involved, and what does she know? And so I felt like the plot in this one was, I mean, it was pretty obvious, the resolution of the plot, like the big who did it, you know, but it was also really compelling. I felt like the plot was really well structured. It had a great pacing in this. It was a very interesting plot. Like, I was into it for sure. I do think, and the reason probably that I gave it 4 instead of 5 stars, is that it definitely felt a little plot heavy and the romance was lighter. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it just felt more plot driven than romance. And I also felt like there was a portion in the middle that kind of lagged a little bit, but overall it was really fun. I really, honestly, really enjoyed this and ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Like, it's a solid 4-star read. I think if you liked the first book, or even if you didn't, like, I would still recommend this. It was a very unique historical. It was very fast-paced. I really liked the romance. It was fun. It was a good one. I liked it. So, that is all the reading updates. I think the only thing I'm going to update you on next is when I finish Devil's Daughter. But I did get a package in the mail today, or actually a couple days ago. I ended up getting a package in the mail sent to me by a sweet Instagram friend who, actually I think she is a YouTube subscriber too, but she watched, oh no, my sculpting tool is not a great box opener tool. I'm sitting here on my sculpting desk trying to figure out how to open this. Oh, I have an X-Acto knife, I should have used that. I will use that. She sent me some books. She saw in a previous video, my copy of Hello Stranger, which was like the large print, which I'm pretty sure I showed y'all, and how that was bothering me. And so she said, hey, I've got an extra. Can I send it to you? And I said, that would be delightful. And so she included some other historical romances that she was getting rid of, and so we're going to see what's in the box. So this is exciting because I believe that this also has the step back in it, so that is exciting. Cosmo is excited. Let's see what is in the box. Oh my gosh, look at this, it's so cute! Oh my heck, this is adorable. She sent me this also. How freaking cute is that? That is literally the cutest pin I've ever seen. Thank you so much. And there's a sweet card. Let's see. I love this so much, Esty. She said, your videos helped me out during a very stressful year, so thank you. I hope you enjoy the books, read them in good health. That is amazing. Esty, thank you so much. I'll have her Instagram linked down below if y'all want to give her a follow. She is a very incredibly sweet person, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. So let's see what she sent me. This is exciting. I have not read, oh sorry, extreme close-up. I have not read this author before, but I was very intrigued with this. This is a beautiful book. Diamonds in the Rough, Sophie Barnes. I have heard of her. That is very exciting. And here is my lovely Hello Stranger edition. And let's see Garrett and Ethan. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Look at that step back. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Esty. That honestly like makes me so happy. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. Ooh, look at this beautiful. This is a Karen Rainey, another author that I haven't read before. I own a few of her books. I do not own this one. To Bed the Bride. Look at the little doggo in the corner. See the little doggo? Ah, that's adorable. I love it. This one has a beautiful cover. Wowee. Look at this. This is an author I have not heard of. Isn't that beautiful? Kara Elliott. Awesome. That's interesting. This is published by Forever, right? Hatchet. Awesome, awesome. And this is a book that an author that I've been wanting to try. I have a few of her books as well. This is beautiful. Jennifer McQuiston, The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel. That is gorgeous. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. This feels like Christmas. Ooh, Catherine Ashe, the Duke, a Devil's Duke. Look at this. That looks interesting, does it not? Right here, thank you, camera. That's very cool. Now this one is a beautiful one, and look at the step back. Laura Lee Gerke. I just got a few of her books on Audible during the Audible sale. How beautiful. Look at y'all. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, this is exciting. And a Kathy Maxwell. This is another author that I need to try. This is A Date at the Altar. Oh my gosh, you guys, this step back is so beautiful. Look. Ah. I'm obsessed with it. This is fantastic. I'm gonna use that for my Step Back Saturday post tomorrow because I love it so much. This was a delightful surprise. Thank you so much, Esty. This was just, honestly, this just made my day. So thank you so much. And to be quite honest, it's honestly been a pretty terrible day. Last few days, we just, I've had my older dog at the vet the last few days, and we just found out today that there's nothing else they can do for her, so it's been a little sad and stressful just knowing that for sure the end is near. We just need to enjoy and comfort her while we have her, so this made my day much brighter. Thank you so much, Esty. I love everything. I'm very excited to read these. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And that's where I'm going to leave you with this very long clip, and I will come back to update you on Devil's Daughter. This reading vlog, my reading vlogs lately have mostly just been like weekly reading updates. So I hope that's okay with you because I need to up my vlogging game. I'll see y'all next time I have something to talk to you about. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. It's Sunday. It's time to finish this vlog because I have finished 2 books now. I have finished 2 more books. This vlog is 100% a weekly reading wrap up. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about these books. So let's talk about the ones that I finished. So first of all, we're going to talk about Devil's Daughter. I love this book so much. Like, this book makes me so happy. I adored this book. An easy 5-star. Honestly, I've got all 3 of the Ravenel books that I read this week, and they were all 5 stars. And honestly, I feel like I just maybe liked each one a little bit better. I don't know, because I loved Devil in Spring so much, but I also loved Hello Stranger, and I loved. This one is probably my favorite. And it's tough because I feel like every one of these that I read in this series gets better than the one before. This series is quickly become probably, I would say this is probably my new favorite historical romance series. I just love the Ravenels so much. I love the Ravenel family. Oh, I love them. They make me so happy. Let's see. Let's get all of them. It's gonna tear apart my rainbow shelf. But I want to have all of them in my hands. So tomorrow, the historical romance readathon starts, and I posted my TBR, and I was hoping to finish the Ravenel series this week. However, I did not finish it. I almost did, but not quite. So I have read 5 of the 6 Ravenel books so far, but I'm not going to talk about these 2. I mentioned how I felt about the first 2 earlier. I do want to do a video, just a short video, and I think I will. I want to do that this week, of my overall thoughts and feelings about the Ravenel series. I was going to combine Ravenels and Wallflowers, but I think I'm just going to do Ravenels and then I'll do Wallflowers. But I want to rank them, like I want to rank which books are my favorite, which are my least favorite, which heroes I liked best. Like, oh, I'm so excited. I just love this family so much. So I was hoping to read all of these 4. However, I only got 3 done. So this one I'm going to carry over because Chasing Cassandra is going to be in I'm going to include this in the historical romance readathon. I'm not sure what prompts it will fill, but I think Justin was telling me this would fill self-made man, that the hero in here is a self-made man, so that would be good. Anyway, very excited about that. Very, very, very excited about that. So, okay, this is a little chaotic, but I loved these books. I loved them dearly. I still feel like this one was just so fun, heartwarming, and happy. This one had a little bit more of a, like, adventurous action type of plot, which was also really good and fun, but wasn't, I still liked them all. However, I will say, okay, having read Devil's Daughter and seeing what a role that Devon plays in this book, Devon, who was the hero in Cold Hearted Rake, who is my least, in this book, he's my least favorite Lisa Kleypas hero. I just felt like he was just a little unlikable. And he is redeemed in this book quite a lot. Watching him and his relationship with Kathleen and their children, like, and the other Ravenel, like, daughters, like Pandora and Cassandra, like, and West, how he interacts with West just really made me like him a lot better. This book was beautiful in so many ways, but I think one of the most compelling aspects of this story is how West was a childhood bully to Phoebe and Henry, mostly Henry, and did you make a big noise? Come here. And, sorry about that interruption. So, he was a child, like, a little bit of a childhood bully, as in, like, he teased him, called him names, and stole a book that meant a lot to Henry that Phoebe had left an inscription in, and when the plot line of why he took that book and what it meant to him was revealed, like, it was just beautifully perfect. Like, I feel like that's the thing. One of the things that I am continuously impressed with in this series specifically is how fresh and new they all feel. Like, I personally don't feel like any of these books fall into the same habit and pattern. I feel like we know a few authors, and I'm going to pick on historical romance authors. I know of one specifically who does, and I'm not going to name names, who does the same exact beats in all of her books. So you know what's going to happen, you know? And I mean, of course, because they're romance, we know there's going to be a third act conflict and they're going to end up together, right? But something that I'm very impressed with in the 3 that I've read this week specifically, this whole series, but especially these 3, is just how different and unique they are. Each heroine is a different type of character. She's, like, not at all a formulaic heroine. The heroes are all substantially different, like, so different. West in here is a little bit of definitely a little bit of a rascal, a little bit of a sarcastic character. Like, he does bring a lot of comedic relief into here that is really enjoyable and really, really fun, and just makes him sort of a different type of hero that you can really relate to and love still, while he still is also a gallant and, you know, gentlemanly type of hero, like in the way he feels about Phoebe and all those other things. So it's just so fun. I loved this one. I loved West's relationship with Phoebe's kids. Oh my gosh, it was so sweet. I just loved it. This series is fantastic, and I feel like if you are new to historical romance, I would recommend this series for sure, because I think that there's something in here that is just so compelling and enjoyable and just beautiful, and I love it so much. So this was a 5-star read. This is probably my new favorite in the series. We'll see. We will see if Chasing Cassandra can beat it, because I loved this so freaking much. Okay, so that's wrapping up the Ravenels. And then, on a whim, after I finished the Viscount Who Made Me Do It, the Diana Quincy book, I think it's the Viscount Made Me Do It, I needed a different book to read on my Kindle so I could have a physical book to read. And I was looking for historical romance because I'm just in the mood for historical romance right now. Like, that's all I want to read. Thank you, Lisa Kleypas, but, like, that's just my happy place right now. But I also really wanted to read this book that I put on. So this book right here, This was the book I ended up reading. This was a gift to me from Victoria, who is a YouTube subscriber. Thank you so much for sending this to me. She sent this to me at Christmas time, and it has taken me that long to get to it. I put it on my May TBR. I didn't read it. I carried it over to June, so I had to read it this month because it had been on 2 TBRs. And if it's on 2 TBRs, I feel like it has to get read. And I honestly have really been wanting to read this. So this was on my June TBR. And I picked it up, and I was honestly very pleasantly surprised with this book. This is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. This is an older woman, younger man romance, and this is a contemporary romance. It's a little bit taboo, and I loved this book, honestly. I loved it so much. This is a 5-star book for me. It was fantastic. I was obsessed with it, and I read it in like a day. I just could not stop reading it. It was so good. I was really surprised how much I liked this because, to be quite honest, I did start The Initiation by Nikki Sloan a few months ago. I started reading it when it seemed like it was really getting hyped up. Everyone was talking about it. I think that's is that her Filthy Rich American series? I don't know. It's very popular, very well loved, very dark and taboo. I think, I'm not entirely sure what the plot of that is. I only read maybe the first 2 chapters. And I read it and just didn't vibe with it at all, and so I DNF'd it. I just did not really like it at all, and I'm just like, I don't want to read this if I'm not loving it. So I DNF'd The Initiation. Ever since then, I've been a little wary of starting this book because something that I don't really love reading is just straight heat, a very high heat book, and that's it. I don't like that. That's just, I'll usually DNF it. If I push through, it's never going to get a high rating for me, so I will usually DNF those. And I know that Nikki Sloan is well known for that. Kazi, can you stop chewing your foot? Hey, thank you. So I started this, and I will say that it is definitely 5 alarm flame heat level, like, very much so. But it is also a very strongly emotional book, too. And I don't know that there's anything that I like better than combining those 2 things. Like, that really made this the perfect read for me. This book is about, I can't even remember her name now, the heroine's name. Why can't I remember her name? Erica. I just remembered it. So Erica is the heroine, and she is 40 years old, in her 40s. I'm not entirely sure exactly how old she is, and she has just recently been divorced because she caught her husband cheating on her, like, in the act. And so she is definitely at a stage in her life where, like, she's super fit. She is really, cares about her appearance and really is sort of, like, living the high life, being this super hot 40-year-old lady. She kept her home in the divorce with her husband, and so she has her friend's son, who is like 25, I think. He's 25. He comes and takes care of her pool. He's her pool boy, and it's their romance. It's so good, you guys. Like, honestly, I was very, very impressed with how the levels of emotion were handled in this. I felt like it had a lot of depth and it had a lot of nuance, and I felt like the hero was just a delight. He was so completely in love with Erica. Like, it was fantastic. It has a wonderful happily ever after. This is probably right now my favorite age gap romance. It was fantastic. This is definitely the best older woman, younger man that I've ever read. And I think this book just came out in August, so if you were looking for that, I'm kind of sad I just made my age gap recommendation videos because this one would be tops, because this was so good. Very, very good. This just hit all of the beats that I wanted in that type of a dynamic relationship. It had a great plot, it had a lot of tension, it had some really, really fun character interaction moments. Like, it was just so good. It was a good one. This was a winner. So thank you so much, Victoria, for sending this to me. I absolutely loved it, and I'm so happy that I have this in my collection because it was a win. I loved it. It was so good. So there we have our reading wrap up for the week. That's not right, these ones. So talk about real quickly what I read. I read these 3 books in the Ravenel series, books 3, 4, 5. Loved all of them, 5 stars. Each one I felt like got a little bit better than the one before it. This one I absolutely adored. I can't choose, honestly. I loved them all. Also read The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. Really enjoyed that one. Kind of didn't really have issues with it, but definitely it wasn't a 5-star like blow me away, but it was still really fun, really enjoyable, very unique, and I really liked that one a lot. So that one is a solid 4-star read. That one comes out the end of July, I believe July 27th. So I don't know if I mentioned that as an ARC that I received from Avon. Thank you so much for sending me the ARC. I really enjoyed it, and I think that if you're looking for a unique, diverse historical romance, I would highly recommend picking that up because it was really fun. I liked it a lot. And then I read The Pool Boy, which frickin' blew me away. Wasn't planning to include this in this vlog, but here we are, and wow. Fantastic. So good. Just wow. Okay, so there we have it. There is the conclusion to this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching this with me. Thank you so much for coming along on these weekly reading vlogs with me. I love filming them, and I love knowing that I get to talk to you about my books. So if you've made it through this far and you would like to leave me an emoji, how about like a butterfly? Is there a butterfly? Some type of a cute bug, like a butterfly or a ladybug or something, you know, because summer and bugs. So thanks so much for watching, my friends. I'll see y'all in my next video.